July 30th, 2025, began like any other summer day in Danville, Virginia. The sun rose over the familiar rooftops, casting a golden glow on the quiet streets. Early risers strolled through downtown, greeting neighbors with a wave or a smile, and the gentle hum of daily life filled the air. Shops opened their doors, children played on front lawns, and the town seemed wrapped in a sense of peace and predictability. For the people of Danville, it was just another chapter in the story of their close-knit community, a place where everyone knew each other, and nothing truly unexpected ever seemed to happen. But beneath the surface of this ordinary morning, no one could have imagined the storm that was about to break. By noon, the city's sense of safety, so carefully built over generations, would be shattered in an instant. The laughter and routine of the morning would soon give way to confusion, disbelief, and fear. People who had always felt secure in their hometown suddenly found themselves questioning everything they thought they knew about their community. At the heart of this unfolding tragedy was Councilman Lee Vogler. Known to nearly everyone in Danville, Lee was more than just a public official. He was a neighbor, a friend, and a tireless advocate for the city he loved. On that fateful morning, he was at his desk at Showcase magazine on Main Street, focused on the work he believed could make Danville a better place. The office, usually a hub of creativity and collaboration, was filled with the quiet energy of a team starting another productive day. Then, in a moment that would forever divide the town's history into before and after, the ordinary turned horrific. An attack, sudden, violent, and unthinkable, erupted in the heart of Main Street. Sirens pierced the summer air as police and emergency responders rushed to the scene. Bystanders froze in shock, their faces etched with disbelief and fear. The sense of safety that had defined Danville for so long was gone, replaced by a chilling uncertainty. News of the attack spread with lightning speed. Within minutes, phones buzzed with alerts, televisions flashed breaking news banners, and social media feeds filled with frantic updates. The story leapt from household to household, from Danville to neighboring towns, and soon the entire region was gripped by the unfolding crisis. The community's collective heart pounded with worry as everyone searched for answers and tried to make sense of the chaos. For many, the attack felt like more than just a crime against one man. It was as if the very spirit of Danville had been wounded. People gathered outside City Hall and in the town square, united by shock and sorrow. The American flag fluttered at half-mast, a symbol of a community in mourning. Conversations were hushed, and eyes were filled with tears and questions. How could this happen here? What would come next? As the sun set on Danville, the promise of the day was lost, replaced by a heavy sense of fear and uncertainty. Families huddled together, watching the news and waiting for updates. Streets that had been filled with laughter and life now echoed with sirens and the distant flash of emergency lights. The town faced a nightmare it had never expected, and the path forward seemed unclear. But even in the darkness, the people of Danville began to draw together, determined to support one another and find hope in the face of tragedy. Inside Showcase magazine, the unimaginable happened. Shotzi Michael Buck Hayes entered, allegedly dousing Councilman Vogler with a flammable liquid. The confrontation spilled onto Main Street, where Hayes set Vogler ablaze in broad daylight. Panic erupted as bystanders rushed to help, extinguishing flames and calling for emergency services. Their courage in the face of terror was a testament to Danville's spirit. Hayes fled, but witnesses quickly provided his description to police. The attack lasted only minutes, but its impact would haunt the city for years. Danville was left reeling, struggling to comprehend such violence in its midst. The night was shattered by the sound of sirens as Danville police responded to the emergency call within minutes. Officers arrived swiftly, their vehicles' lights cutting through the darkness, and immediately began securing the area. They established a perimeter with police tape, ensuring that no unauthorized individuals could enter the scene and that evidence would be preserved. The officers' quick thinking and training were evident as they coordinated their efforts, communicating clearly and efficiently to assess the situation and protect those nearby. As the police worked to secure the scene, paramedics rushed in to provide urgent medical care to Vogler. The emergency medical team moved with practiced precision, assessing his injuries and stabilizing him as best they could on site. Their calm under pressure was crucial, as every second counted in those critical early moments. The collaboration between police and paramedics ensured that Vogler received the immediate attention he needed, even as the situation remained tense and uncertain. Paramedics quickly transported Vogler to the hospital, their ambulance weaving through city streets with lights flashing and sirens blaring. Meanwhile, officers remained at the scene, methodically interviewing witnesses and gathering crucial statements. They spoke with neighbors, bystanders, and anyone who might have seen or heard something, piecing together the events that had just unfolded. Their attention to detail would prove vital in the hours to come. Thanks to the clear and accurate descriptions provided by witnesses, police were able to quickly identify a suspect. Officers wasted no time in tracking down and apprehending Hayes, moving decisively to prevent any further danger to the community. The arrest was the result of both diligent police work and the willingness of community members to come forward with information. News of the arrest spread rapidly, bringing a measure of relief to a community that had been left shaken and fearful. Neighbors gathered outside, some speaking quietly with officers, others simply grateful that the immediate threat had been contained. The sense of vulnerability lingered, but there was also a shared appreciation for the swift response of law enforcement. Hayes was formally charged with attempted first-degree murder and aggravated malicious wounding. The charges reflected the seriousness of the crime and the determination of authorities to seek justice. As Hayes was escorted into the courthouse in handcuffs, the presence of police officers underscored the gravity of the situation and the commitment to public safety. The quick and coordinated police work reassured residents, who gathered at community meetings to voice their concerns and seek answers. Law enforcement officials listened, offering updates and support, and emphasizing their ongoing commitment to keeping Danville safe. These conversations were an important step in helping the city begin to process the trauma of what had happened. With the suspect in custody, attention shifted to Vogler's recovery and the community's healing. Outside the hospital, friends and neighbors gathered, some holding vigils, others simply offering support to one another. The road ahead would be difficult, but there was hope that, together, the community could begin to heal. Throughout the ordeal, the professionalism and dedication of first responders stood out as a bright spot on an otherwise dark day. Their teamwork, compassion, and commitment to duty made a lasting impression on everyone involved, reminding the city of the vital role they play in times of crisis. Though Danville's sense of security was deeply shaken, the community found comfort in seeing justice move forward. The events of that night would not soon be forgotten, but the resilience and unity shown in the aftermath offered hope for a safer, stronger future. News of the attack spread instantly, leaving Danville in disbelief. For many, it wasn't just a headline, it was personal. The brutality of the act shattered the city's peaceful image, leaving residents feeling vulnerable. Questions swirled. How could this happen here? Why Vogler? As shock gave way to sadness, support for Vogler and his family poured in. Social media filled with prayers and messages of hope. The community's compassion became a beacon in the darkness. Danville's response showed its true character: unity in the face of tragedy. The city rallied, determined to support one of its own through the crisis. City Hall was rocked by the news of the attack on Lee Vogler. Council members, more than colleagues, felt the blow deeply. Councilman Dr. Gary Miller voiced the collective shock and concern, speaking as a friend, not just a politician. His words reflected the personal bonds behind public service. The attack united city leaders and residents in shared grief and hope. Political differences faded, replaced by solidarity and support for Vogler. City Hall's response helped unify Danville, showing leadership in crisis. The message was clear: the community stands together, ready to help one of its own. In tragedy, the strength of Danville's relationships shone through. In the aftermath, speculation about political motives was inevitable. The community was in shock, and the media quickly picked up on the story, amplifying the uncertainty and fear. People were glued to their screens, trying to make sense of the tragedy that had struck their town. Vogler's long tenure on the council made some wonder if the attack was politically driven. His influence in local politics was well known, and it wasn't far-fetched for some to think that his political stance might have made him a target. The city council meetings, often a place of heated debate, now seemed like a potential backdrop for a sinister plot. Police quickly dispelled these rumors, confirming the motive was not related to Vogler's public role. At a press conference, the police spokesperson emphasized that their investigation pointed to a different kind of conflict, one that was deeply personal. This announcement was crucial in steering the narrative away from political conspiracy theories. The attack stemmed from a personal dispute. Vogler and Hayes knew each other. Their relationship had a history, one that was fraught with tension and unresolved issues. The police revealed that this was not a random act of violence, but a culmination of personal grievances that had tragically escalated. This revelation shifted the narrative from political violence to a private conflict gone tragically public. News anchors and reporters began to focus on the human elements of the story, highlighting the personal connections and the emotional toll on the community. The story was no longer about political intrigue, but about the very real and personal pain of those involved. By clarifying the motive, police helped prevent further division in the community. The clear communication from law enforcement allowed residents to understand the true nature of the incident, reducing the spread of misinformation and helping to maintain social cohesion. Community leaders and officials worked together to address the concerns of the residents, fostering a sense of unity. The focus turned to healing, not blame. Vigils were held, and people came together to support one another, offering comfort and solidarity. The community's response was one of compassion and resilience as they sought to heal the wounds left by the tragedy. Danville united around Vogler as a victim of personal tragedy, not political strife. The outpouring of support was overwhelming, with residents leaving flowers and messages of hope at City Hall. The narrative had shifted, and the community rallied around Vogler, recognizing the personal nature of his suffering. The distinction allowed the city to grieve together rather than fracture. By understanding the true nature of the incident, the residents of Danville were able to come together in a show of unity and strength. The cityscape, once a backdrop to political debates, now stood as a symbol of collective resilience and hope. To understand the city's pain, you have to know Lee Vogler. At 38, he's more than a councilman. He's a husband, father, and active community member. As managing partner at Andrew Brooks Media Group, he's deeply connected to Danville's stories and people. Elected young, now in his fourth term, Vogler is a familiar face and trusted leader. Friends describe him as dedicated, approachable, and invested in his hometown. The attack struck at the heart of Danville's identity, a leader who chose to serve where he grew up. For many, Vogler represents the city's spirit and hope. His recovery is personal for Danville, a symbol of resilience and community pride. In the quiet aftermath, Danville is left with haunting questions. Why did this happen? What personal conflict led to such violence? The lack of answers fuels unease and speculation. Residents question their safety. If this could happen on Main Street, could it happen again? Curiosity about Hayes and his relationship with Vogler lingers. The community seeks understanding, hoping for reassurance and justice. Until answers come, uncertainty shadows the city. Danville waits, hoping for healing and clarity in the days ahead. In tragedy, Danville's unity shines. The community's response has been swift and heartfelt. Prayers, vigils, and support for Vogler's family. Social media and local groups mobilize to help, offering comfort and practical aid. The city's focus is on Vogler's recovery, each update bringing hope. His fight has become Danville's fight, a symbol of resilience. The attack revealed the city's strength and compassion. The road to healing is long, but Danville faces it together. Shaken but not broken, the community stands united, choosing hope over fear.